Aloha, beautiful souls, and welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me today and for tuning in. This is Marissa Indigo of Divine DNA Blueprint Mystery School, here to share another power-packed transmission, plasma stream, quantum energy report, shamanic transpersonal psychology techniques, and consciousness quantum perspective hacks to get through this week. So we're going to be talking about the energies and themes of this week for October 21st through October 28th. So let's all just start with a deep breath. Just want to welcome you and invoke the energies of peace, centeredness, groundedness, and stability, inviting you to connect and send your roots down, asking Mother Earth to receive us, to receive our grounding trunks right now. So we're opening with a little grounding and centering exercise to connect. So rooting, stabilizing, wrapping our roots 3 times around the core, the heart core, beautiful heart-shaped diamond of Mother Earth, the higher crystalline energetics of 5D through the heart and above. Connecting into infinite love, pure power, wisdom. And this is a very powerful example of how easy and fast it can be for you to connect in any moment as you see fit in order to stabilize yourself throughout the energies of this week and going forward, just in general, right? We are responsible for stabilizing ourselves. And when you take a moment to remember that very powerful micro practice of grounding this way in this now moment and into the pure potentiality of this moment, grounding deeply down and through, it can very much support you to expand and then come into clear seeing and clear knowing and clear perceiving, which is the 0 point, the now moment, the pure potential of the now moment. So we're not in the mind ruminating on the past, and we're not in the mind projecting into the future, right? And kind of feeling like we're, spinning around. So this week is a massive week. We have a lot of dynamic energies at play. At the time of this recording right now, we are wrapping up the sun, moving through the sign of Libra. And you may have observed even over the past few days or today, a shift with regards to all of a sudden having to look at, having to take a moment and realize where you may have some issues or some trauma with regards to relating to other people or experiences you have had with other people. So the Libra energetics are all about relationships and expanding that beyond just how we engage with another, but first starting with ourselves and our own relational perception of how we're actually relating to our reality. And that all starts within. It's the self-talk within, right? The self-perception, the identity. And so this whole month, this cycle of the sun has been about true self-seeing. And if you're new to the channel, welcome. I'm so excited and so grateful for all the new subscribers that are joining us. Welcome. Welcome to this sacred container. We're so happy to have you and to connect with you and to empower and support you and to exchange with one another. And if you're new, I do suggest going back to the weekly energy reports throughout this last month and into September of the last 4 weeks to assist you to go deeper with that Libra energy as we are now transitioning into the next solar cycle. So starting on the 22nd, we're going to be entering into Scorpio energy, and it's a very different kind of energy. So if you have been observing interesting dynamics and scenarios or patterns or fears, anything uncomfortable or challenging with regards to relationships, just know that that's the next level, right? We're taking the inner world now outside, and there are many shifts taking place. So many of us are on different paths with regards to who we live with, right? Or who we are encountering on a day-to-day basis. So you may be the only one on the quantum consciousness ascension journey in your neighborhood or at work or in your family, right? And so just honoring yourself, honoring that everyone is in their own phases, and some people are not yet called, to personal development, and just having patience and respect with that and just focusing on your own journey. But doing these micro practices like stabilizing and coming into your peace and love, even if you don't feel those qualities, you can just invite to breathe in peace and love. and breathe out peace and love. So regardless of what happens this week in the headlines, in America, we're in an election cycle. So for people who are really into that, it can be a very intense and divisive time. So you'll see a lot of mechanics at play with regards to media and propaganda, narratives. It may be getting really hot around the world with a lot of this Mars energy. The lowest form consciousness of Mars is a warlike energy, and you may be seeing these themes play out within yourself. Your own mind may feel like a room full of voices that are all advocating for different things. One aspect is very excited about the future and the innovation, and so looking forward to the change and desiring it very much. Another aspect may still be dealing with some traumas of the past. Another aspect may be in the inner child, in the wounding, going through some kind of an insecurity. Another aspect may be angry and passionate. So you want to look at an each now moment this week, and in general really, but this week there's a lot of emotional upheaval. There's a lot of psychological processes. You could be experiencing rapid expansion moments where you're feeling great, you're feeling unified, you're feeling at one with God or your universe and creation, and then the next moment all of a sudden it's all crashing down, and you could be feeling disillusioned or disappointed, really feeling like, oh my gosh, well, how come nothing is working? So we could have some impatience come into play. And so it's just really a week for mastery on an emotional level and a psychological level. There's a lot of soul retrieval this week. As we move into Scorpio energies, you're going to notice a shift with where your focus is. And you want to watch, where is my mind obsessing? And you could use that to serve you as a detective, scanning. You could go on a seek and destroy mode within yourself of like, oh wow, where's that program coming from? So it's a beautiful opportunity for soul retrieval. And at the same time, you don't want to get stuck in a loop. You don't want to get stuck in the shadow work. You want to do the shadow work and dive in there and allow it to complete itself, but you don't want to get stuck there. And we offer so much throughout the years. There are several videos that we do suggest that will support this week. One of them is the Entering New Earth emotional mastery and divine neutrality and learning how to connect with your guidance. And it's a mastery class that we put together that's actually free on the Mystery School site. So I will link that in the description box below. We also have the Recode Your Reality activation. We also have the True North ebook, which assists you with connecting with your different birth charts. That can be very supportive if you're finally feeling the call to get in touch more with your planets and what they're doing in your own blueprinting. That will be very empowering, because once you know what your moon is up to and your Mars and your Pluto and your Saturn, it can start to feel a lot more of a collaboration versus any kind of feeling like you're getting pushed around, pulled, bullied, or victimized by the universe. This is all separation, and it's important to see all of these and embrace, wow, I'm feeling this, interesting, and really dive in. So whatever is here now, if it's despair or misery, if it's ecstasy and joy, dive in. Just really savor the moment and what it is offering you. Do not be in a space of resistance. Just be very aware of that, of our resistance or wanting to run away from something or feeling like we can't handle, we can't deal. I assure you, you most certainly can. That's why it's coming up for you right now. So we're in a very sacred container this week of the universe showing you, and it might not feel good in the moment. It may make you feel bad about yourself or bring up judgment or shame or guilt or some kind of feelings that are not positive towards the self. And you want to abstain from that, because guess what? The universe doesn't feel that way about you. God doesn't feel that way about you. It's your soul doing this for you, through you. So just start to get into that mindset, cultivate that mindset. Everything here is actually happening for me to come into my highest and my most beautiful place inside of myself, to discover and build and anchor the templates of new earth, of heaven on earth, free from the distortions of the past in this now. That's what's happening, right? So the light that's coming through is very powerful, and it's taking us on yet another deep dive into our subconscious and our psyche. And it's an amazing opportunity for even more empowerment, freedom, and love to come through us. But we've got to do the work, right? So if you think about if you're an archaeologist or a paleontologist, well, there's some traveling involved. You've got to get to the site, you've got to have your tools, and then you've got to actually start the labor process, right, of digging around. So it is a process of alchemy. We love to call this the soul alchemy, opportunities to discover. So we are being led to do this exploration. You could feel forced, backed into a corner, stuck, all of these different ways that our psychology will perceive going to these extremes, right? And you want to just soften and remember, again, it's not happening to you. Nothing is here to harm you, right? So we're liberating ourselves now from the trauma of the past, realizing that this is all happening to clear and clarify and bring us actually into greater authenticity and greater self-expression, greater self-love and self-seeing for the brilliant being that you are. It's time for you to see yourself. And sometimes when we have resistance or there's a lot of dust and stuff kind of hiding and suppressing our truths, then the universe is going to come in with its wise and benevolent kind of elder and sometimes feeling rather forceful, right? Because the ego will go kicking and screaming into these awakening processes, right? So it's a huge shamanic process this week. And just allow yourself to be present with what is. And these are some really powerful phrases that we love to use personally when we are feeling really uncomfortable, whether emotionally or psychologically. Okay, I am where I am right now. Okay, I don't exactly love where I am, but it's okay that I am where I am right now. Okay, all right, I am where I am. I am that I am. I'm observing this and that. I don't love feeling this or that. And you want to start defining and giving words to what you are experiencing. And it's okay. And then you want to give thanks that it's actually coming up and rising up out of your subconscious, because that means that you are liberating. So when you can see, then you are free. So that's a huge, huge thing I love to use, is like, thank you so much for showing me, because when I can see it, then I am no longer unconsciously leeching and giving my power, my energy away to this. This is actually happening for me to become even more free from any of the mind prisons, any of the programming. And then you want to affirm, I will feel better soon. I may not feel my best right now, and I love to feel good, but I know what I know. I know that the universe is wise and benevolent and loving and kind and abundant, and that the universe has my back, and that I came here for this ascension journey. And sometimes I might feel like I'm losing my mind or I'm losing my grip on reality, but what's actually happening is I'm expanding my ability to perceive reality. My quantum gifts are being restored and renewed. So you want to play with your psychology, do your best to keep a lightness of heart about this, but understand simultaneously that if you were brought to the depths of darkness and despair, it is so that you can clear them and no longer carry them around, right? We are always carrying unconscious baggage or programs. So one of the experiences we had this weekend, which was so incredible, was there was this really powerful yod with the planets, which is a finger of God. And so essentially the sun was at the top. It was an isosceles triangle. So a lot of six energy, a lot of diamond energy, diamond clarity. And these are always really intense light codes, right, that come up to assist us to purify. And at the base of this triangle are the planets Uranus, which is God, source intelligence, electricity, innovation, divine genius, galactic and extraterrestrial, futuristic, sci-fi, brilliance. And at the other base of the triangle is Neptune in Pisces, dreamy, mystical, new earth realities, dream life, dream potentials, also where we could be deluding ourselves, where we still have toxicity. So it's the medicine and the poison, right? All aligning with God and source consciousness, where we are at one with all of creation. So there's a very divine quality also to this Neptune. And so it's all about creating our new earth realities now. And we do that through the power of our mind and our belief system and our emotional state, our energetic state. So you want to allow whatever energies, whatever emotions are present right now to be the master teachers, no matter how good they feel or not good that they feel. Get in a state of neutrality and instead sacred respect and reverence for where you are, and allow yourself to be shown, allow yourself to receive the information. So going out and walking in nature is a great way to deal with this, right? We always do what we call walk and talk, where we'll go out and walk, and it's a movement meditation. So we're walking, we're breathing, we're intentionally connecting with Gaia, with the earth, breathing in the fresh air, and kind of going through, walking through the mind as we are walking through nature, through the forest. So on Saturday, when this yod began, we were in an incredible place, feeling unified with God consciousness, and the stillness was so powerful. The peace was so powerful, feeling at one. And we're like, oh my gosh, this is a moment of self-realization, self-actualization. This is what the masters are always talking about. Now, the next day, Sunday, was gnarly. When I first woke up, I felt a lot of discomfort inside of myself, inside of my psychology, and I needed to go out in nature again and ask, okay, what is this? What is this discord that I am feeling right now? And we were shown psychologically more areas deep within our subconscious through words, how we were still blocking. Because this was my question, is how am I in my own way? I always am asking, show me, how am I in my own way with this and that and all of these really deep topics that we care so much about, right? Your heart's wishes, your heart's desires, when you're feeling blocked perhaps, or wondering, why is it taking so long? Am I in my own way? Is that a head trip too? Kind of thing, right? So I was shown how I was still using words for certain things, and I'm not resonating with the energetic of that word, and I need to find new words. And we were also shown from a galactic perspective how to be less emotional, because the human aspect of us has so much emotional attachment and like energy vested in that it can kind of get in a knot, and then we're kind of kinking the hose, then we're in our own way of this goal. And it was really fascinating because I heard like the Spock energy from Star Trek coming in and talking about things being logical or illogical. Now we'll talk about this subject of expansion, and so here's the example of the word needs, like, oh, I have to have my needs met, I want to feel more support. These are some examples, and I'm walking around and I'm like, I don't really resonate with the word needs. It's just not resonating. It's not. So when I'm talking about it, I feel like there are these energetics associated with it of like needing to validate our needs or something, or have all these reasons as to why, our needs, we need this and that. And then I was shown to just look at it from an expanded point of view. And they were like, why don't you use the word expansion instead? Why don't you use the word support or support system instead? How about you look at this as a scientific equation? So remove any of the old associations from this, right? So we're going to remove the money system and all the entanglement with that, and self-worth and all of this kind of linear process. And let's just look at this from a scientific quantum consciousness perspective, which is, as your consciousness expands and your light and knowledge expands, as your energy fields expand, you are automatically met by the universe. This expansion is automatically met instantly by the universe, whether you perceive it or not. So then you're getting stuck in the head wondering, is it happening, right? So we really want to get out of thinking and into perceiving, because then when you perceive, you expand into this now, and you kind of feel what is present in this now. You realize, oh wow, I just got stuck in my head again, ruminating, and I'm not even perceiving what's actually happening, what's actually energetically present, right? And so we were shown, so this is for anyone who's in their process and you might feel kind of frustrated because you're trying something, you're finally putting energy into a dream, whatever it is, and it's not happening fast enough, at least as far as your ego is concerned, right? This is the opportunity to collaborate, co-create with the universe, realize that the divine does have its own timing, right? And so you may feel like, oh my gosh, why isn't this working? And feel like you're in a desperate situation, but are you really? So this is where you want to play with your psychology, right? Because the human mind goes to extremes. And so they were showing us how reality works. How when you inhale, the universe is exhaling and you're breathing in the universe. And how when you exhale, the universe is breathing you in. And that's how immediate the effects actually are, the instantaneous materializations. And so if we have a lot of thought forms and a lot of split energy, quote unquote, in the way of that, it could feel far away, but it's not. It's all a concept. So, these expansive concepts and ideas can be dizzying. It can be a lot. And that's where we want to just invite you, just be with what is. And we want to try to keep this as simple as possible because, of course, navigating quantum mechanics starts to get kind of complicated, but it actually is really simple. Just keep coming back to your heart. Any patterns or programs, anything you're afraid of repeating, any experiences that you're afraid of repeating, just remember, if you're in your heart space, none of that will happen. Because you're going to be in your heart space, in your love, and not in the head, not in the ego, and not in the past. So when you're in your love, those heart magnetics are going to call forth. The energy is going to match where you are. And I guess that could be kind of the key code of this entire podcast this week, for the energy of this week and going forward, is to start to understand that the energetics of creation are matching or reflecting what we are holding inside. So this gives us a tremendous amount of power and responsibility to start to see just how powerful we really are, right? So then we have all of these experiences of these expansions that are so heavenly and amazing, and we're seeing potentials and feeling really great and feeling at one with creation. And then that light causes us to contract so that we can continue to remove and root out and weed through our being to remove more that is not aligned with that deep harmony, right? And so you're going to notice an acceleration of this process, and it's about riding the waves. It's about understanding, oh, this isn't an attack on my being. We're the only ones that are defining it as being good or bad. It just is. And at the end of the day, it's here for you. So it's an incredible opportunity for mastery. It can be intense as fuck, but we have a lot of support here for you. We've been sharing this information now publicly for years to support you for these times of intense acceleration, as we're getting stripped away down to the just core essence of our being that is free from anything outside of ourselves, including the really old patterns of wanting to be recognized or wanting to be validated by anything outside of ourself, right? It's about doing all of that for ourselves so that then we can cultivate more of that in the external reality and external world. And then we're also guided to share that we are here for sessions. So if you are feeling ready to invest in your soul, the work that I'm here to provide is this soul embodiment process of really getting to see and love and honor and trust yourself at a soul level. And that helps to rearrange the energetics in your reality, because then you're identifying with your core essence, right? So this week and going forward, it's all about not self coming up. And so don't get caught in the illusion. Don't fight against it. Don't resist. Just say, wow, thanks for showing me this. Wow, I am so blessed to be able to see this, because now I can reclaim more and more and more of myself. It's okay to make mistakes. We have to remember this. It's okay that we were wrong about things. It's okay to change your mind, change your mindset or your heart set about things, because we're getting new information all the time. And when we get new information, all the energetics shift again. So these are really important, not to get fixated on any of these old ways of being. And we all do from time to time get stuck on these for a second, because it's how we used to function. Remember, we are completely shifting how we function from a linear way of being into a quantum state of being. So there is so much support for you, gifted, or if you want to invest and do a beautiful energy exchange with me to support me in kind, supporting you. We have several layers of sessions, micro sessions, full on sessions, all kinds of stuff available for you. And whether it's me or someone else, it doesn't matter. There are many guides here to assist you through this process. So if you're feeling like support would be a good idea, someone to talk to work through this, make sure that you reach out to whoever that is. You don't have to do this alone, right? This is a communal experience as well as an individual experience. And there are a lot of way showers out there, because you're going to start to realize that the old talk therapy, like, they're not multidimensional, they're not quantum, they're not shamanic. So they have kind of a limited scope of how they can assist you, because we look crazy to the old narrative, right? Because we've busted out of it and we're in a new paradigm. Make sure you're finding support that's aligned for your needs. And we're going to use that word needs, meaning your expansion, meaning the shifts taking place within, calling forth that support system. So enjoy all of the gifts and tools and resources, and And more than anything, just have gratitude and appreciation for the mystery school that is your every moment now, because we're going to be presented with stuff until we're done. And it's a lot, but at some point you will be done with the soul retrieval process. And then you're in a completely different space and in a whole other light body system, a whole other consciousness state, which has its own challenges again. So we're always expanding into greater and greater capacity as souls here in the physical experience, in this time-space continuum that is like a clay that we can mold with the power of our minds and our hearts unified. So make sure you're not working against yourself. We're going to be offering support through the week as well here on the channel, different activations and all kinds of different mastery support. We also were guided to encourage you to check out our video we did back in 2020 on Stockholm Syndrome, because this will allow multiple perspectives of pulling out of the matrix and seeing where that is within our minds, our emotional field, our belief systems in the body as well. Or that may be a useful tool also for others that are in your reality, that are on various portions of their own unique awakening experience. Please be sure to like, subscribe, share this information. We're so excited for the opportunity to get out there and support more people, because the psychological and emotional aspects of this can be very intense. And it's important for people to know that this is a normal part of the process as we're exiting the matrix, right? You don't even really need plant medicine. We are always an advocate for plant medicine, of course, to assist us. But at this point, the amount of light and the amount of DMT that's happening in our own neurochemistry from this right now, it can feel like an ayahuasca trip right now, a mushroom trip right now. So just remember to stabilize in this now, welcome in, be grateful and humble for what is happening, and remember that it's happening all for you to come into your greatest self, which has always been there, your greatest love, abundance, highest new earth reality timelines, and beyond. So I thank you again so much for joining me, sending you love and big hugs, and I'll see you soon. Namaste.